Hi, Julie Rader here with the Sagittarius 2022 astrological overview. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like it, and share it with any other Sages you feel may benefit from this information. Let's dive right in. So in January, the first Mercury retrograde we have will be in Aquarius, and this is happening in the third house for you Sagittarius rising. Make sure you listen for your rising, sun, and even your moon. Your moon will give even a bigger picture view just of how you're going to feel internally as well, especially rising and sun. So with Mercury retrograde in Aquarius in your third house in January, you may find yourself reviewing or revisiting some projects you did in the past and going back and find yourself editing, or maybe an old project, an old writing project that you had, or an old colleague, or even something to do with siblings could come to the surface. Maybe you have some conversations with a sibling, and you go back and you discuss something that needed to have closure. Also, there could be an area of study, something that you started studying a while ago and you didn't have time to complete it. Maybe it's an evergreen online course that you started, and in January you could find yourself motivated and wanting to go back and complete this study, the subject of study that you had started. The next big event that we have is in April, a couple big events in April. So we have the ruler of Sagittarius, Jupiter, and Neptune conjunct. This is a huge, huge astrological event. All astrologers are talking about it, and we'll be talking about it in the months to come. This is happening, Sagittarius, for you in the fourth house. So this in the fourth house could bring a huge change to your home and or your family. So there could be a big move, a relocation, or maybe a housing project that you're working on, something to do with the fourth house. Now, when Neptune and Jupiter combine, the great benefic, along with the god of the underworld, when they come together, it really is this huge activation of the law of attraction. And I'll do another video all about this conjunction and how to best utilize it. But for you specifically in the fourth house, this is a great time if you are wanting to move or wanting to make changes on the home front. I highly recommend doing a vision board. Get some home magazines and start cutting out pictures and envisioning what you want. Begin dreaming big. You are all about big picture, Sagittarius. This is a time to tap into the law of attraction. This happening in the fourth house can bring really miraculous results when it comes to home. So where do you want to live? What area do you want to live in? What do you want your home to look like? All of this, blue sky it. Dream big, write it down, cut it out of paper, make a vision board, and start doing that now. Start doing it now so that when this Jupiter and Neptune conjunction comes, that you are ready for the blessings it could bestow upon you. Also, I highly recommend getting rid of old stuff, getting rid of the things in your home, physical things in your home that you are no longer using, or Marie Kondo your home. Do the condo method of, if it doesn't bring you joy, get rid of it. Also in April, we have a solar eclipse happening in your sixth house, and this is happening in Taurus. So there actually is a lot of sixth house activation for you in 2020. Sixth house is the house of day-to-day routines. It's the house of work. It is also the house of health. So this solar eclipses are basically highly charged new moons, a reboot to the system in this house, you may find yourself really ready for a fresh new start on your daily routines, and specifically ones that have to do with health. Really kickstarting your health, getting rid of the old bad habits that are no longer serving you, maybe implementing drinking a daily smoothie or something along those lines, an exercise routine, and really starting it and making it part of your day-to-day routine. Then in May, the next Mercury retrograde is also in an air sign, and it's in Gemini in your 7th house. So when Mercury is retrograde, especially when it's in the 7th house, it brings back old relationships. Old relationships, old ghosts may come back, and either for closure or revisiting them, maybe just for closure, maybe for maybe to try again. However, because we also have a lunar eclipse in May in Scorpio in the 12th house, I feel like the relationships that may come back and resurface, it may be so that there is actual closure, a closure that feels healthy and complete, and maybe even a spiritual element to it, something that you can heal so that in your next relationship or current relationship, you are able to bring more or a better version or a higher aligned version of yourself into future relationships. Also in May, we have Jupiter leaving Pisces, going into Aries, and this is in your 5th house, Sagittarius. So 5th house is about children. It's about entrepreneurship. So Jupiter going there, you may start to get some highly creative activities. You may have some romantic potential coming in as well. Maybe it's maybe a new addition, maybe a child, or really improving your relationship with your children. And then in July, we have another huge astrological event. It is Uranus conjunct the North Node in Taurus, again in your 6th house. So Uranus can bring unexpected things. North Node is really, or it can also just bring breakthroughs. North Node is about your true destiny, what you want, your highest potential, your highest goal. So it could bring some breakthroughs. We talked about before, the solar eclipse in July in this house could start bringing some new beginnings when it comes to health. If you have not started implementing those new beginnings, then Uranus could bring something that forces you to really change up your health or your day-to-day routines. So Uranus could really bring it to the forefront. That's why in April, really recommend when you're getting these intuitive hits or these signs that are telling you to start a new health routine, do it. So that when July comes along and we have this North Node Uranus conjunction, then we actually have a bigger breakthrough when it comes to health and routine. Then in September, we have Mercury retrograde happening in Libra, another air sign in your 11th house. This could again bring back an old work project that you were working on, or something actually more likely, something to do with larger audiences, groups of people that you've been working with. Maybe you were working with a group, or you were part of a group of like-minded people, and for some reason maybe your schedule became too busy and you weren't active with that group anymore. This Mercury retrograde could bring you back to doing something with that group, or it could simply have you, this is also the house of your aspirations or goals. Maybe you are revisiting goals that you made in the past, and maybe they no longer align with who you are. So maybe you're revisiting and looking at, especially after that Uranus conjunct the North Node we had in July, you may have been doing a lot of reflection, and this is bringing it up too. What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What do you want for your life? This could be a big theme in September. So then, in September. And then the very next month in October, we have Mars going retrograde in Gemini in your 7th house. This is really bringing about relationships, bringing relationships to the forefront. At the same time, we have Mercury going into Scorpio in your 12th house. This makes this Mercury and Mars having what is called mutual reception, meaning that they are triggering each other, triggering your 7th and your 12th house again, just like we had in May. So maybe if you've been kicking the can down the road with a relationship, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be business partnership, something that isn't working. Maybe it's time for completion with this Gemini and Scorpio activation. Maybe there is a spiritual awakening that you receive, or maybe even in relationship, with this activation, maybe you find that you actually you meet someone who you are deeply spiritually aligned with, and that could bring a potential new relationship if you've done the work and released the old parts of yourself or the old relationships that are no longer serving you. If you've also gone through and started these daily routines and these health issues that need to be looked at. So October could bring some really interesting alignments for you if you've been doing the work earlier in the year. Then in November, we have a lunar eclipse. It's our last eclipse of the year. Lunar eclipse in Taurus, again in the 6th house. So much for you, Sagittarius, is looking at your work routines, your health routines, just day-to-day activity. Are they serving you? Are you making healthy choices? Are you making healthy choices for what you put into your body and how you move your body? With it being Taurus, it could also be maybe this year is the time for you to start your own garden, for you to really start growing your own fruits and vegetables, maybe even getting chickens. We have chickens, we love them. It's amazing getting fresh eggs every day. I haven't bought eggs in months. So this lunar eclipses are full moon eclipses. So maybe it's really, again, shining a light. It will be shining a light. If you haven't done the work earlier in the year, it is now time to really implement. Or if you have done the work earlier in the year, in November with this lunar eclipse, you could really see the benefits. So this is why it's great to have an overview of the year so that you know, okay, in April, really start doing the work on health if you haven't already. And by November, you will start reaping the benefits. And then in December, we have the final Mercury, December 29th, the end of the year. And the final Mercury of the year, Mercury retrograde, it will be going retrograde into January, so into the new year of 2023. This is happening in Capricorn, in your 2nd house, really asking you to take a look at your finances, at your financial house. Look at, maybe this is when you decide to actually start doing your taxes early this year, or what's going to be going into January. So maybe as soon as a new year hits, you're looking at getting your taxes done early. You're looking at where you spent money throughout the year and revisiting your budget and what you value. Are you putting money toward things that are of value to you, of companies that are of value to you? Maybe it's really you looking at shopping local and really, or shopping really only with doing business with companies that you value and that are in alignment with your moral and ethical beliefs. So this is your overview for 2022. Enjoy it. Get your health in order. Maybe start growing those fruits and vegetables, and look at relationships. All right. Enjoy. Thanks for listening, Sag.